Hey everybody, I am getting tomatoes started inside and I want to show you a few steps that we take to get them going in seeding trays so that they can get off to a great start before we eventually put them out in the vegetable garden. This season we are planting Super Sweet 100 hybrid. These are like those cherry tomatoes. Big boys, which are just lovely large standard slicing tomatoes, and these bush steak hybrids, which are a nice, I think they're a little bit more of a medium. Oh, they're kind of big to medium. So excited to get these going. I absolutely love growing tomatoes because they are fun to grow at every stage. They are really easy, relatively, knock on wood, crossing fingers, easy to get to germinate and grow from seed. And as they grow, they start to smell amazing. Oh my goodness. And they're beautiful. And every stage, they are just really rewarding. And of course, at the end of the season, when you get to harvest and enjoy and give away tomatoes, freeze them, whatever you want to do with them, they're just amazing. And they're even fun to tear down at the end of the season. The vines get just huge, especially the indeterminate ones that don't stop growing. And we've had so much good luck with ours the last couple years that we've done this, where they actually will reseed themselves and we get like tomato weeds out in the veg garden, which is just a really cool, fun thing that happens. So they are gratifying and they are just always a delight. So if you haven't done this before, or you're just looking for how we do it. Basically, we get a seed starting tray just like this, just as long as you get some holes or cells, or you could even do soil block if you have a soil blocker. And we use seed starting mix. I usually just moisten it down. I have some water here in this old milk jug. And then I stir it up a little bit with water, just to get it a little bit moist, get it going in the trays. And I have watered down the tray. I sprayed it with this water bottle. It's just a repurposed spray bottle with water in it. And then I have spread out the starting mix soil throughout these cells. And I've made sure that you can see they're not completely up to the top yet. They've got just a little depression there where there's openings. And that's so that I can put the seeds in there. It's not perfectly even. I'm not a real perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. But generally, I've got somewhat of a depression in these different holes. And then I'm going to drop the seeds in. I'm going to make sure we label the rows so we know what we're growing. And then I will cover them up with a little bit of soil, depending upon what the seed packet says on the label. So for example, we're going to look at this cherry. So it says start indoors in a warm, well-lit area. And you start the seeds at a 1/4 inch deep. So I'm just going to make sure after I put the seeds on top here, and I'm going to go 2 to 3 per cell. And then I will cover them with just a tiny bit of soil, which is close enough to a 1/4 inch. And that should do it. And then I will spray them with water on top just to keep things moist, and put this lid on top of the tray, which will get them off to a great start. Make sure they have plenty of sun. We are in our sunroom here, so they will definitely get sun somewhere that they sit, probably on that shelf or a different place, because we're going to have a lot of things going in here. So we'll get it situated on some sort of table or shelf. Can barely see the seeds, but I have started to put them in. And I'm going to do the bush steak ones next. So these are just some of the tiny little seeds that I shook out of the seed packet. So this is how tiny it is. Look at that. That is one beefsteak tomato seed. There's 2. They're so itty bitty. There's another one. And I try my best to put them kind of across the cell from each other so they have a little bit of space. because a lot of times they germ pretty good. So then you're going to have to separate them out when they get bigger. I got the big boys in, and they are pelleted, so they are easier to see. They're the white balls. So now I am covering up the tomatoes with a little bit of soil, just a tiny bit, to accomplish that 1/4 inch planting depth. They don't need much of a cover, and they usually come up just fine. Crossing fingers, knock on wood, that I didn't just jinx myself by saying that. Literally, that's all it takes. It's just covering them up a teensy bit, like these 2 rows here. Now I'm going to do that on the rest. All right, everybody is covered up now. They're all tucked in. And then I'm just going to spray them real good. And that is all there is to it. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna put on this side of the tray. More fun things we get to try. And I'll make sure to put that lid over the top. Wish us luck. Hopefully we have a real good germination, emergence, and they get off to a great start. On the second half of the tray, I've decided, I went through some of my flower seeds because we're waiting for some more vegetable seeds to arrive in the mail. So I decided to put blue salvia in here, which is a lovely perennial flower that I want to establish in a lot of our garden beds that are more permanent and landscaping. So I have sprinkled them. I have a 50 seed pack, and I filled this entire other half of this tray here, all of this, with the blue salvia seeds. And I was reading online because the packet, it's another one of these packets that doesn't have any information on it. And I looked online and it said to do a 1/4 inch deep, but don't cover up the seeds. So I sprinkled just a few seeds into each pod and each cell here, and I'm just gently pushing them down so they kind of stay put on the surface of the soil. There are these little tiny gray things, like right there, like right here. These are 2 more seeds. Can barely see them. So I'm just making sure they're nice, like they're not gonna blow away, so to speak. They're gonna stay put. Just making sure they're in there good. And that's it. Like, it's that easy. And so I'm just going to write up another knife here with label, and then I'll water them. And off we go. And crossing fingers, they come up. All right, so here is how the second bin of winter sowing is turning out. I've got 2 pots here of cardinal flower seed. I did one of the white turtle head. And we've got everybody else in here. So I'm going to move these outside tomorrow. And my idea is to flip this container over, and I'll have these in a tray like this so they're secure on the deck. And you're supposed to have airflow when you do this, just like a greenhouse. So my thinking is that because I won't be on the deck, they're going to be on the planks. There is airflow coming from underneath. I have no idea if I'm doing this right, but just trial and error, seeing what happens. With a lot of these seeds, I'm also doing them indoors too, just to compare and contrast how it goes. And if there's certain seeds that do really, really well outside, and then I don't have to have them take up space indoors, all the better.